Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to share some of the meals that I cooked for my family this week, and I'm also going to share detailed recipes of these meals. So this is goat meat that I have over here that I want to bake. I wanted something that is quick to fix and something that I don't need to be in the kitchen for a long time. So I'm punching down some garlic. You can use a grater to just grate them and get them into smaller chunks. And also I've used the red onion. I'm going to add all this inside the goat meat. I made sure that the goat meat was it didn't have bones. So I'm adding in the garlic and also the onions. And then I'm going to add a little bit of dark soy sauce. You can use a teaspoonful. And also I'm adding curry powder, cayenne pepper, some salt, sea salt. I'm adding in some passion kombucha, and also I'm adding the plain kombucha. This is just to give it an exceptional flavor. Yeah, I've tried this before and it's very delicious, so I've been sticking to using that. You can use vinegar if you don't have kombucha. You can also use lemon, but I think this recipe is mainly based on kombucha, so you can try that out. I've used a little bit of ghee. If you don't have ghee, you can use butter or oil of your choice. But there's a difference between when you use butter, ghee, and oil of your choice. The butter tends to tenderize the meat. So I'm going to transfer it into my baking tray that I've aligned with parchment paper, and then spread it nicely and put it in the oven to bake on high heat for like 30 minutes. Yeah, so this is what we have, and I kept monitoring it. It's nicely baked. It's like more of nyama choma, but it's the moisture is quite high. So I'm also baking some potatoes, and here we have our dinner. It looks simple, delicious, and effortless. If you're an OG here, you know that I love whole grain flours. So I went to the posho mill to mill my flour because I had run out of flours. The only flour I had was semolina, and I didn't want to continue consuming semolina. I also milled some ragi, that is finger millet. For my porridge, I love the natural flavors of the finger millet. The flour that I did mill is yellow maize. I love yellow maize a lot. I didn't carry some from the countryside, so I decided to just go buy from her because she also gets from the countryside, and it is guaranteed 100% that it has no preservative or any powder that is meant to preserve the maize for a long time. So I am very sure of what I am consuming. This is semolina flour that we had gotten for emergency. Yeah, whenever I can't access yellow maize or maize and millet mixed together, I just go for semolina, yeah, as an emergency flour until I get access to the maize of my choice. So I'm transferring this is millet that was milled with sorghum. I really don't like it so much when it comes to porridge. It has a very slippery texture and the aroma is just different. I just don't like it. So I decided to get plain ragi, which is the finger millet, so that I can make porridge, the natural porridge that has a very nice and ancient flavor compared to the porridge that you can even get from the packed flowers. Yeah, so I want to prepare dinner, but before that, the kids are coming from school, so I'm going to prepare a snack for them, and then we shall look into details on the recipes of what I'm going to prepare for dinner. want to start preparing dinner for this evening, and I went for goat meat because it's a bit leaner. I'm adding in some whole onion to flatter the flavor, and then some hot water. I'm going to slow cook that for around 40 minutes so that it can tenderize. The pot actually retains a lot of heat, so it fastens the cooking time of anything that you want to cook inside there. I'm also cooking beans on the side because tomorrow is a Sabbath, so I decided to prepare the beans so that it's easier for me to handle the meals tomorrow. I'm using macadamia oil. This is meant to actually make managu. I had bought managu, the native greens, and I thought if I pair it this way with this meal, it's gonna be delicious. So I'm adding chopped tomatoes that I already peeled. These days I prefer peeling out the skin of the tomatoes, because sometimes the way they handle tomatoes outside there, it's not an hygienic way of, even if I do wash, I still don't feel comfortable. So I just prefer peeling off the skin. Unless I have baked the tomatoes, I can blend them along with the skin. That is better because it has been exposed to high heat. But for this one, I just prefer peeling them because they also take long to cook. This, I don't know what's wrong with the tomatoes in the market. They also take long to cook, and after taking long to cook, some chunks are not even broken down. They don't soften. But I think peeling them and then covering and lowering the heat, it tends to soften them, given that the lid releases moisture. So that moisture, the lid sweats. Yeah, when the lid sweats, it assists in softening the tomatoes. I also got some avocado because I want to include that in the menu. I honestly, I myself, I don't want to say we. I myself, I love avocados. In any meal, I would eat avocado. And then this is nicely softened, not so much, but at least I'm going to add in the managu that I had already boiled, and then that will be it. I think everything from here is just straightforward. As for the goat meat, I think I'll be adding I'll be adding in cardamom powder as a spice, so I'm not overspicing my meat, only macadamia powder, not macadamia. Macadamia just keeps ringing in my mouth or just coming into my mouth. I said cardamom. Yeah, you see, macadamia and cardamom, I think the words all are almost the same. So this is how I make my vegetables. I make sure that I separate them nicely so that they can get the flavors of the tomatoes and the juices from the tomatoes and the onions. So the remaining managu I'm going to store in the fridge, yeah, for later use. I wish I had more because this managu was very, very delicious. So I stored some in the fridge. I don't have anything because I haven't prepared batch cooked. I have been away. I think I'll have to batch cook to create easier just so that I can have easy time in the kitchen whenever I am cooking. So this is how I cook my ugali. Those who have been here, you have seen how I have cooked my ugali for over the years that I've been on YouTube, like 2 or 3 years. Yeah, so first of all, I make a paste from the flour, and then I add it into the boiling water so that we don't get the small lumps, the flour lumps on the ugali, and it cooks faster. This method helps cook the ugali very, very, very fast. Yeah, so that is how I normally start up my ugali, and I just mix it until it gets the flour is broken down and the paste is very smooth, and then I lower the heat, cover it, and let the ugali cook itself. You don't have to stay on that gas cooking your ugali throughout, like you want to sweat there and overwhelm yourself. So this is what I do, create space and then cover with a lid, and that is it. And the ugali is nicely cooked and it looks very nice, and it was delicious as well. Yellow maize has its own flavor. If you're not used to the aroma of yellow maize, I think it's gonna be a bit tough for you. So these are coriander roots. I'm adding them into the macadamia oil so that the oil can get the flavors of the coriander roots. And then I'm adding in garlic. I always add garlic first before I add onions so that we don't mix the aromas. Then in goes the onions. I'm gonna mix that. What I'm watching out is not the browning of the onions. I'm watching out on the browning and the burning of the garlic. if you concentrate on browning the onions, the garlic will end up burning and it will give bad flavors into your meat. So I'm adding a little bit of cardamom powder, as I said, and then add in some chopped tomatoes that I already peeled. Mix that very well. I'm gonna cover it so that if when the lid sweats, it helps me soften the tomatoes. You can see how soft they are. The coriander roots are still there, so a little bit of cayenne pepper for some spiciness. My kids don't mind that because it is not too spicy. So I'm adding in everything, the goat meat with its along with its broth, and then give it a good mix. What I love adding in when I feel like this soup is too runny, I add in a little bit of cornstarch that I've mixed with water. So a little bit of it is okay. If you overdo the cornstarch, it will diminish the flavors of the meat. You won't even get the flavors of the meat. So that is what I do so that we can have a thicker broth. I'm adding in some chopped or green peppers and some coriander. I'm gonna mix that and let it steam for like a minute. Yeah, a minute. I don't want the peppers to overcook because I love them crunchy. So the meal is done. I served, my babies enjoyed the food, and this is what we had on this day for dinner. Yeah, it really looks delicious. From the video you can tell it's delicious, and physically it was delicious. If you want to try the cornstarch hack, you can try it, but please use a pinch of cornstarch and some water to just thicken the broth of the meat. Yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think about this particular meal idea, if you want to try it, and how you prefer even cooking yours. So I got some organizing container and I just decided to include them on this video because this is the very day that I had picked them. I also had some sun cape. Yeah, I bought this because I travel a lot to the countryside or wherever. So, and sometimes as seasons change, sometimes when you're outside there's a lot of sun, and I really want to cover myself. So I got this and it looks nice because it's stretchy compared to the ones I've gotten before. And I got this little cute storage containers. These ones I'm gonna use in storing my cereals. They are very nice. The edges are made of the bamboo, but the clear part is just acrylic. Honestly, it's less delicate, so I'm not worried that if it falls down it's gonna break, or when it's mishandled it's gonna break. So it's not glass, it's just acrylic, a material that resembles acrylic. Yeah, and then the edges are bamboo. I picked these particular containers because of bamboo. I honestly love anything that looks like wood. That color is just something that I would want to have in the house, and I got 3 of them. Yeah, they are very beautiful. So on to the next dinner idea. This is what I made on this day. Everybody knows how to make pilau. Everybody has their own recipes based on pilau. These days we don't even go for the original way of making pilau. If you flatter your food, you will make different pilau. So I'm also warming some 2 packets of milk in the microwave. This is what I want to make. I have made this particular snack like I think it's 1 year ago. I haven't thought of making it again until today. So this is 2 tablespoons of dry instant yeast, a third of sugar. I just eyeballed. Honestly, I don't know how to just go get measurements things, but it just use a third. With 2 pack of milk, I warmed it a little bit and then added in the yeast. Let it sit for 5 minutes, and this is what we have, 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to add in vanilla flavor so that we can just, when you bite into whatever you want to make, you get that nice flavor. 2 eggs. Yeah, give that a good mix and add in some ghee. I used ghee. You can use butter, you can use margarine, you can use oil, but as for me, I added ghee. Yeah, I think I also used a third of the ghee, and then give it a good mix. Let the eggs crumble down, add in a pinch of salt to cut the sugar, give that a very nice mix, and then add in flour. The consistency is not runny. but it's a bit thick. I think you'll see from here because I used half a kilo of all-purpose flour, so you'll be able to know what kind of consistency that you are going to get if you use the same measurements that I did use. So I used a whole half pack of all-purpose flour, and then I mixed that very nicely and let it sit and proof. Yeah, so we are gonna make pilau. To start with, frying my onions, and I used a lot of onions. I think I used like 3 onions, and then I'm going to brown this. If you want to make pilau, honestly, burning your onions is not the solution or the way to get very dark pilau. You can get any color, but still the pilau is very nice. So in my pilau mix is just pilau masala, nutmeg, and also some celery salt that I had made like months ago. That is what I added, and some curry powder. So I'm going to mix this with the meat and then let the meat get all the flavors of the oil and all the spices. And then I soaked the rice for 30 minutes. I had washed it and then soaked it for 30 minutes. So I'm gonna give that a very good mix. I'm using the whole grain sunrise basmati rice, the long grain. Yeah, it's very nice when it comes to pilau. If you want to cook pilau, just go for that rice. Little bit of broth that I had, and then I'm going to add in some hot water because the broth is not enough. So I'm adding in some hot water. I think I've talked for a long time until now all the words are evaporating from my mouth. But the pilau is done and it looks very delicious. It's not as dark as the other ones that I normally make. I think the difference comes in with the pilau masala. Yeah, it was not nicely concentrated. So along with kachumbari, and it slaps with kachumbari. Now let's make the puff puff. Yeah, what I was going to make was the puff puff. I'm using my hands. I had already made some. My hands, this is how I normally squeeze out so that we can just get a very nice spherical shape of the puff puff. And I lowered the heat to medium. That is what I'm using. After the oil gets hot, lower the heat to medium so that the puff puff gets to cook evenly and they don't get soggy and absorb a lot of oil. So after putting in the required amount of puff puff that I want in that oil, I start turning them one by one without even resting. So that is where I stay. Yeah, I just stay there until they are done cooking. So what I do is turn one by one. I don't wait until one is browned and then I start turning. I just keep turning them until I feel like they are nicely cooked evenly. And at this point, I felt like I would do like 4 turns. Yeah. 4 turns until they darken a little bit. You could go for golden brown color, but I think darkening a little bit will enable them cook evenly so that you don't get something that is not evenly cooked. We need something that is spongy in the inside and soft on the outside, not crunchy, soft on the outside. That is how puff puff should feel, or that is how puff puff is made. And we are done. Look at that. Look at that. Don't they look nice and appealing to the eyes? And also spongy in the inside, nicely balanced flavors. If you would want to try this, I think that is a very direct recipe. There is no any other recipe that I would share. But if you want to still check out on the rest of the recipes that I have made on Puff Puff, you're free to do that. Until my next video, bye guys.